made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast. God, I don't even know the episode. I lost track. We're going to have to get that back settled in. But we are back. Hunter Keister. I am back. Co-host, made on Ridgeway. And I am joined by
K-Mac, the one and only, back here once again. Friday night. Let's get it, man. Let's freaking go.
Let's go. It's been about a month, a little bit longer than that, but life got a little bit crazy for us. We've enjoyed some football, and last time we spoke on this podcast, it was week 1 of college football, and we are now in week 11. So, got some catching up. Just going to go over some big moments that we've had throughout this season. Hope you guys have kept up with us on the Shekel podcast as we have been over there on a weekly basis for the last couple of weeks, doing that with Kurt's brother Tony. So that'll be linked down below, and we look to continue that along with also doing this weekly. So stay on the lookout for that. But as we kind of just get right back into it, Kurt, it's been a wild college football season, and aside from what we've learned today, what do you think of this? Just a general college football, emotion or feeling. How do you feel about it?
A lot of swings. I feel like there's been a lot of swings week to week. Man, some teams have been consistent. Some teams have been inconsistent. Been a lot of ebbs and flows of this season. Shockers, upsets, things nobody would have thought would have happened. And we're going to dive into it. But it's been an interesting season, to say the least, so far.
Absolutely. Just getting into the juiciest part of the season, and obviously with the end of the season comes end of the season drama. And for this Michigan team, it's not just the regular end of the season drama trying to win. We've got a lot more, and we will be diving into that because today was a interesting day for the team. I don't know if I can call it good. I definitely wouldn't call it good, but I don't know if I would call it bad either. Learned some things. Some things still got to be told, but just an interesting day for Michigan, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. I think we should start just with a general recap of college football. And I think with that, I'm just going to look through, and I think this will kind of help us jog our memory and get us caught up for us and the viewers, and then can get us ready for the biggest month of the college football season easily in November getting started. And obviously,
November to remember.
Looking to the future, tomorrow at noon, Michigan takes on Penn State in Happy Valley in Pennsylvania. So got that to look forward to, but let's go all the way back to week number 1 in this college football season. Looking at this slate, the only big games were really that Utah-Florida game that the Utah team you didn't know much about because Cam Rising was still going to be out. Didn't know how long he was going to be out. And then Florida having the Graham Mertz, you didn't know how he was going to be after losing Anthony Richardson to the draft. And Utah comes out and wins a 24-11 game. Other than that, week 1 really wasn't much of surprises. Michigan wins 30-3. Ohio State looks a little underwhelming, 23-3. They get the win. At Indiana. Oregon also put up 81 points. That was absolutely wild in week number 1. And I think that was pretty much it for week number 1.
Colorado and TCU was also massive.
Was that week 1? I thought that was week 2.
Was it week 2?
Yeah. I'm scrolling down. It might have been.
I thought it was the first.
I did miss. I also missed Florida State LSU, 45-24.
Yeah, that blow.
Florida State.
Second half.
Florida State whooped them second half, and then for what we thought was going to be maybe an overrated Florida State team, it turned out to be a overrated LSU team for sure. So that was wild. And then Duke obviously beating Clemson. We had high hopes for Clemson this season.
I remember that.
And Duke beats them in week 1, 28-7.
Had a historical streak going there, and somehow the Blue Devils won it.
Yeah, okay. I'm looking. I'm giving it one more look. Oh, it was. Yep. That Colorado TCU game. I almost missed it.
Yeah.
45-42. Obviously, the Deion Sanders debut in a, 2-12 team last year. And he comes
No
out.
wins.
Yeah,
I
0
don't,
and 12.
I don't even
Obviously,
think they
0 and
had a
12. I
win.
think it was 0 and 12. Yeah, I think it was 0 and 12. Yeah, 0 and 12, obviously. And they come out first week. He gets some transfers. He gets some things like that. But certainly not a team that you expect to go beat a ranked team. And on the road week 1, he does just that. 45-42. Colorado gets the win. And that will close out week number 1. Let's jump to week number 2 now.
Numero dos.
We saw Kansas beat an Illinois team. Didn't know what we would see out of them. Obviously, Illinois is not faring so good this season. Michigan gets the 35-7 win this week at home against UNLV. Colorado beats up on a really bad Nebraska team, 36-14. Had higher hopes for this Nebraska team, but we saw that quarterback play. We thought it would be an issue before the season, and it's definitely proven to be thus far.
We also had Texas at Alabama. I watched that game Saturday night. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's
Alabama with the loss.
Texas, Bama. Yeah, that was huge. Texas, Ewers, he was a meme, a laughing stock, and he really just turned his
Balled
life
out.
around almost in a offseason, turned around his life and really balled out, beats Bama, and puts Texas right on the map. Also, we had Baylor go down to Utah by a touchdown, 20-13. And that really wasn't much. 48-33, the U beat A&M. So that was a bigger win to kind of put Miami on the map early in the season. Washington started their dominance 43-10. And Oregon escapes Texas Tech after putting up 81. They win 38-30. And yeah, all right. That'll do it. Quick recap of week 2. Scrolling down, nothing else. All right, let's go. Week 3. Boom, boom. Michigan wins 31-6. This was the Bowling Green game for Michigan. Obviously, this was JJ's really lone bad game of the season. Yeah. And looking back, we kind of were like, is this going to be what JJ looked like? Was everything, what's going on?
An anomaly.
And, it was literally just one bad game from JJ, and he has looked incredible at quarterback for Michigan this season. So they get the win there. Penn State 30-13 over Illinois. Missouri beats then 15 Kansas State 30-27 to kind of put themselves back on the map. They've had a really good season so far this year. Let's see. Notre Dame gets another nice win. This was Georgia. South Carolina 24-14.
Sweating. Absolutely sweating that game.
Sweating that game for sure.
They were, I want to say they were losing that game at one point, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, that makes sense because they looked awful. I remember that. I watched most of that. Florida beat then 11 Tennessee 29-16. Big win for Florida. And yeah, that'll be it for week 3. Let's go to week 4. Wisconsin beats up on Purdue. Michigan wins again 31-7 over Rutgers. Florida takes out Clemson by a touchdown in overtime. That was a great game. Imagine if Florida State gets caught up there now. Looking at them, they're at 4 right now. Imagine they lose that game early on in the season. That would have really hurt. Right. That would have really hurt.
Oh, man. This was the Ohio State Notre Dame game.
Ooh. And also the Alabama Ole Miss game as well. This was a great week in college football. Obviously, Ohio State narrowly beating Notre Dame once again. It just slipped through the fingertips of the Irish for the second straight year in that series. And kicking yourself if you're Notre Dame there. Kicking yourself. And obviously, we saw Alabama get a nice 24-10 win over Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. this was also a 14-7 Utah-UCLA game. This was a great defensive game. And then obviously the Oregon Ducks whooped on, then really ranked pretty high, Colorado 42-6.
Oh, man, I massacred them. Coach,
thought that game could
after that
be
game
close.
For them said they're worried about making headlines and we just worried about wins or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yep. Only other big games, Washington State takes out 14 Oregon State 38-35. And Arkansas narrowly beats LSU. LSU wins 34-31. Let's go to week 5.
Week number 5. Heading into October.
Into October. Oregon State with a big win over Utah. Utah got all the way up to 10. They lose 21-7. Their quarterback problems finally start to show without not having Cam Rising. Michigan wins 45-7 over Nebraska. USC narrowly beats Colorado. Colorado rebounds after getting whooped by Oregon, and they lose to USC 48-41.
Had it on to one possession game there at the end. Fought back in the fourth quarter.
Right. Georgia narrowly beats Auburn 27-20. That was a really close game down to the end. I remember watching that. Texas beats up on Kansas 40-14. I thought that game could have been close. Oh, was I wrong?
Smoked them.
Yep. Smoked them. Ole Miss, Brian Kelly proving he cannot win the big ones, and the SEC was the last place on planet Earth he should have went. Another loss and against another ranked team. This time they take on Ole Miss and lose 55-49.
Oh, good gracious.
Oklahoma, 50 points and a 50-20 win. 41-20, Tennessee, South Carolina. Bama gets a big win over Mississippi State. And Washington, who was playing really well, only beats a really bad Arizona team. Well, which we thought would be a really bad Arizona team by 7 points. So that'll close out week number 5. Going to week number 6, we're looking at Oklahoma State beating Kansas State 29-21. Michigan getting the big 52-10 win over Minnesota. Ohio State beating Maryland 37-17. LSU finally getting back on track and beating then 21 Missouri 49-39. Oklahoma edges out Texas in the Red River rivalry in a great game, 34-30. Then unranked UCLA
Texas,
beats.
Man, they've been in some games.
They really have. They've been in some close ones, and they're number 3. But man, they've been in some close ones for sure. Let's see. UCLA beats then ranked 13 Washington State, 25-17. We got Clemson barely beating Wake Forest 17-12, and Bama just getting by Texas A&M 26-20. And Georgia beating Kentucky handedly 51-13. Ole Miss, Arkansas almost gets another SEC team. They played a couple teams to one-score games. I think LSU was the other one, but then they play Ole Miss 27-20. Ole Miss wins. And then ranked 10 Notre Dame loses a game they definitely shouldn't have, 33-20 over Louisville.
Yeah, they really got exposed.
This was also the week of USC, Arizona going to overtime, 43-41. USC wins, and the U losing to Georgia Tech on that wild Hail Mary and
man. Oh my gosh, that's when that player on the sidelines from Miami got caught saying, "What are we doing?" I remember that. Oh man. That's gotta suck. A game you should have won, and you absolutely
fumble
it. You fumbled the bag.
You fumbled the bag, fumbled it away. What happened to the U? That's what I was thinking after. What happened to the U?
How the
We'll
mighty
go to
have fallen.
right. Week number 7.
Week 7.
This was the Stanford-Colorado double OT game. Stanford 46, Colorado 43. This saw Michigan win 52-7 over Indiana. Georgia beats Vanderbilt 37-20. Bama gets by Arkansas. Another 3-point game for Arkansas. That makes three one-score games for this Arkansas team,
Right
and they're
there.
unranked right now. How? That's wild.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they sit at 3-6, but all these one-score games, like, give them a break. What do you want them to do?
Finish, I guess.
Right. This Rutgers beat Michigan State 27-24. Ohio State beats up on Purdue 41-7.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Anything else? Oklahoma State unranked beats Kansas 39-32.
Notre Dame smacked on USC.
Oh, that was okay, that makes sense.
That's the game leading up to the week where we're like, why is Notre Dame so highly favored in this point spread? And then they go out and put a shellacking on them.
Yep. Tennessee takes out A&M 20-13. This was also the Washington-Oregon 7 versus 8 matchup. 36-33 Washington. What a great game. Louisville, that started to climb the ranks, loses by more than 2 touchdowns to unranked Pittsburgh. Typical Louisville fashion.
Yeah.
LSU wins big. Missouri beats then-ranked Kentucky 38-21 to continue to put themselves on the map. They were still unranked at this time. They're now in the top 15, I believe. North Carolina wins 41-31. And Oregon State takes out UCLA 36-24. That'll get us through week 7 and into week 8. Week number 8. Here we go.
Yeah,
Michigan State. I was partying in East Lansing. Over your trap. 49-0.
Oh, man.
Michigan State.
We thought it was bad, the game we went to last year between those two, but man, this one
even worse. Even
start
more
to
fun
finish.
for me. Even more fun for me.
Sometimes it's even more fun celebrating in another person's place, but
right.
Not when they're not there. But
here we see this was Ohio State, Penn State, 20-12. Close game. I cannot wait to talk about this. I don't see it, man. Oh, man. 20-12, Ohio State gets the win. Oklahoma barely beats out UCF. I remember watching this game, like, UCF's going to win this thing. 31-29, Oklahoma wins. 38-24, Oregon over Washington State. Bama beats Tennessee by a couple scores.
Missouri
they finally rank Missouri and they crack. They absolutely throttle South Carolina. 34-12. Iowa's terrible. 12-10. Texas barely beats Houston. I remember watching this game. 31-24 Texas.
Utah and USC. 34-32. Utah won.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a big game.
And then Ole Miss
to barely stay alive. Yep, 28-21. Thinking about where they're at now and how they can still contend for the SEC. Thinking like, man, what if they would have lost this game? And Auburn, it's like, man, they've been so close. A lot of these games have been so close.
That's how it is,
that's
man.
What separates them in the SEC
games,
for sure.
Yeah. No, a lot of these games are all one score. That's like they're always close.
Right. Florida State beats a good Duke team by a couple scores. And Miami beats Clemson in double overtime, 28-20. Washington only puts up 15 points in a 15-7 win over a really bad Arizona State team. 2 wins on the season.
Washington Huskies.
Yeah, that was a really Crazy game to think about them only
That's
winning 15-7.
interesting.
Right.
Hmm.
Let's go to week number 9. Week number 9. They had games starting on Tuesday. That's so crazy to me. That's weird.
That is kind of weird. This one will pretty much close out almost the end of October.
Yeah, yep.
Wow.
Close. Kansas gets a big win over then 6 Oklahoma 38-33.
Oh man.
Penn State over Indiana.
This was that Ohio State Saturday night win over Wisconsin.
Okay. Northwestern beat Maryland in a shocker. That was wild. Man, I should have saw that U game. A little blast for the future. North Carolina State ruined my parlay like a week or two ago. My 5-leg parlay. They beat the U by a touchdown or something. And they also beat Clemson this year, 24-17. So North Carolina State's had a couple pretty big wins.
Upsets.
Right.
Like to see it.
Minnesota beats up on Michigan State, 27-12. Louisville blanks Duke, 23-0. Oregon over
with
Utah,
a huge win over
35-6.
Utah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that one.
And then Miami goes to double or overtime again with Virginia and beats them by a field goal.
Back-to-back overtime games.
This was also the USC barely beating Cal 50-49. Tennessee gets by Kentucky by 6. Washington beats Stanford by 9. So 2 games they win 15-7 and then 42-33. Kind of some vulnerability by Washington for sure.
See cracks.
Right. Obviously that Ohio State 24-10 win. UCLA gets by Colorado 28-16. And Georgia Tech again. They got the U earlier. They get North Carolina 46-42. Georgia Tech.
I want to say for Colorado, this was, during their 3-game losing streak.
Yeah, that sounds about right. What about Georgia Tech beating Miami and then North Carolina? That's crazy.
Any Saturday, man.
Yeah.
Saturday.
After we thought Arizona might be a pretty bad team this season, they're unranked. They get a big 27-24 win over Oregon State. So that's a big win.
It's like anybody can beat anybody.
Right. That'll close out week number 9. Let's go to week 10. We're getting close to present day now. Week number 10.
Yeah, this was last week.
Michigan big 41-13 over Purdue. Texas narrowly gets by Kansas State in overtime, 33-30. Ohio State big over Rutgers, 35-16. Indiana gets by Wisconsin. Michigan State beats Nebraska. Dang, that's Nebraska. You are just terrible. You should not be losing to Michigan State this season. There's no way. There's no way.
That's like taking 2 L's in a week.
It takes overtime. Arkansas, they finally get one. Arkansas finally gets one. It takes overtime, but they finally get one. Oh, that had to feel so good for them.
It took them about 12 weeks, but
that had to feel so good for them to finally get one over them guys, over one of them teams in the SEC, dude. Holy moly. They get by Florida, 39-36.
Holy smokes.
Who were you saying before I seen that? Oklahoma Bulls for the SEC, right? Oklahoma State gonna stay pat. They won't play for a while. That rivalry is over. And guess how it ends? The big bad Boomer Sooners 27-24 loss. Ouch.
Wow.
Oklahoma State.
That's how you go out, losing to
That's how you go out.
Little dude.
Little Oklahoma State Cowboys. Top 10. They're barely ranked. Oklahoma State's 23 and they're at 9. Ouch.
L. That's
yeah.
L.
L. That's a massive L. Iowa Northwestern 10-7. Gotta love it.
That's how they win all their games.
Right. Kansas State with a touchdown win over Iowa State. And then, 52-42, Washington over USC. Bama wins big over LSU.
Yeah.
Called that one. Oh, this was obviously the North Carolina State week I was talking about earlier. 20-6. Give me a break, Miami. Come on. Weren't they at home too? Nope, they were at NC State Stadium.
Yeah, they're on the road.
Then Oregon State beats on Colorado. Arizona beats UCLA 27-10. That's a big win.
Yeah, I think for Colorado it's just one of those things.
They just had too many holes that Deion couldn't
their
fill
offensive line
fast
is
enough.
Dreadful. I think they've allowed the most sacks in the country. If you ain't building the trenches, you're not going to win many games because you can only throw the ball so many times. They're also missing a couple players for a couple weeks. They're finally getting back, so that'll help. But
yeah, that's for certain. I know Shador's a scrambling quarterback, but that old line has him running for his life. He's not scrambling; he's running for his life out there, and it's really rough to play and make high level throws against good competition when you're getting just hounded all game and having to run for your life. So hopefully they can get something figured out there. But I expect if Deion stays there, I expect some pretty decent recruiting classes from him. And to be honest, I'll be excited to see where he lands. Right?
Fucking Rome wasn't built in one night.
Yeah, people just expected him to come in there and them to be instantly like he can't make wine out of nothing. You
can't be expected to make a 5-star dish with fucking the low ingredients.
A literal no-win team. That's impossible.
No.
And he's really doing the best that he possibly can. So the naysayers, I get it. I know he's cocky, but I like him. I like Deion a lot, to be honest. All right. Well, we are now caught up. Present day. Week 11 has started, obviously. Tonight there's some games going on. North Texas is in a dogfight with SMU, 17-14 going into the fourth. And then UNLV is playing Wyoming, 14-0, middle of the first quarter. So, we've now got the viewers all caught up, a little blast in the past for the college football season. Let's get into present day.
Yeah.
And the interesting past, I don't know, probably about 12 hours for this Michigan fan base, because I pretty much saw that there was going to be news coming out today. Pretty much saw that early morning today, kind of last night. Tonight I saw some speculation, but let's get into it. So the big news dropped by the Big Ten was that Jim Harbaugh will be suspended the last 3 games of the regular season. He will still be able to coach throughout the week. He just will not be able to be in attendance of these games for the last 3 weeks. So there's obviously a lot to unpack, and we're going to try to do the most in a timely fashion. So let's just get into it. So we're going to start with what happened today, and we'll kind of get into the whole situation. But what happened today? So throughout the last, Wednesday, Thursday, it was kind of the rumor that something was going to happen before Michigan got on their plane to go to Happy Valley today. So everybody was like, early afternoon, yada, yada, yada. That's the rumor. So these people let Michigan and everybody board the plane, start their flight to Happy Valley, and then while Michigan is midair, they decide to come down with the Harbaugh suspension. Now, this is just, Portnoy called it spineless and cowardless, and a lot of people are just up in arms if you're a part of this Michigan fan base right now. And obviously, Kurt was too. He just couldn't hold it in earlier. He was just, just letting it out. And I told him I couldn't blame him. So, Kurt, I guess just before we get to unpacking what this situation has become, what is your knee-jerk reaction to just the Harbaugh situation? What happened today?
I feel like this whole situation today has been totally mishandled. And, I wasn't having the best day. And I was in the parking lot at the gym. And I was just sitting in silence for a few minutes. I just needed a few minutes just to collect my thoughts. And then I looked at my phone. And I saw the news. And I was like, oh, I'm ready now. I probably had one of the best workouts I've had in a long time. I was pissed. I'm amped up. I can't believe that this is how they went about it. It's honestly totally unprofessional by the NCAA and the Big Ten. And, at this point, it's literally us versus everyone else. So,
yeah, Ryan Day in his chipmunk squeaky voice, he can say Ohio State versus everybody, but can that garbage. That is garbage, and you know it. It really is Michigan versus everybody. And the NCAA is proving it now.
The timing is just...
Man,
do you tell another team something that's so important? This ain't nothing little. This is your head coach just being swooped right from you. This is this is professional. Like, we're talking all this money involved, and you're gonna tell them about it when they're on the plane. How's anyone gonna hear about it? Nobody's got a signal up there.
Right. So, this was just, it really just looked really bad on their part, on the NCAA and Big Ten's part, because it just looked like you're trying to block Michigan from trying to get their ducks in order, or their cards in order, and what they want to do and how they want to play this, and you're just trying to handicap them. And like you said, how can anybody get this news or try to get their in order when they're in error? Like, come on, this was absolutely miserably handled by Patini, or whatever his name is. He's only been in office for about 160 some days, and what a butchering this is.
I had seen rumors of this happening earlier this morning when I was on a little bit of social media. I was like, no way. Today, no way. I didn't believe it at all.
Everybody said, yeah, I started to hear the rumors, obviously, and obviously knew they got to get something in today if they're going to do anything. And as the day went on, I really thought if we got on the plane, everything was fine. I thought that if everybody got on the plane, they're at least not going to do anything for this game.
Let them coach tomorrow at least.
Yep. So I see the team post that they're leaving for the flight, and I just kind of get off of it. And next thing I know, I'm at the library doing some schoolwork and breaking news, and I just look, and then I'm trying to focus, and I can't help myself, and I just kind of sat there like, wow, for like a couple minutes, just wow, couldn't believe it, unbelievable. I think unprofessional is a great way to put it, and there is so much that we've got to unpack, but let's kind of start getting into this situation and everything this scandal entails for Michigan, and a nice little recap of that as well. So let's just start from the very beginning. October 19th, Yahoo Sports breaks the news of this. They break the news of this whole thing and what this could be for Michigan. Right. NCAA is investigating Michigan for violating the rules that prohibit teams for scouting in-person future opponents.
That's signs.
It was scouting in-person future opponents. It's not as stealing signs as everybody makes it sound. What's really bad here is the in-person scouting future opponents. That's what's bad. That's what I've come to learn through this. Is that the sign stealing wasn't what they're really worried about. It was the in-person scouting of opponents. So that is what's found on the 19th. On October 20th, Michigan suspends recruiting analyst Stallions with pay. On the 23rd, it is revealed that Stallions purchased tickets to more than 30 games at 12 different Big Ten schools over the past 3 seasons. On the 24th, he also purchased tickets to games involving Michigan's potential college football playoff opponents. On the 24th, it is also revealed that video emerges of Stallions on the sideline during last year's Ohio State game, appearing to relay the Buckeye signals to defensive coordinator Jesse Minter. 26th, TCU knew of Michigan's sign stealing prior to their matchup and used dummy signals. On the 27th, a D3 coach said that Stallions paid him a couple $100 to attend Rutgers and Penn State games and record their sidelines. On the 31st, a weird, mysterious picture that looks like Stallions is found, and he's all in Central Michigan gear. So then the hunt is on to try to find out if he was involved with Central Michigan athletics. So that starts on the 31st of October. On November 2nd, Big Ten athletic directors encouraged commissioner to take action during a video call after Big Ten coaches did the same a day prior. On November 3rd, Stallions is fired. He falls on the sword. He does as a good patron would do, a good U.S. Marine would do. And honestly, all I got to say for Stallions, as he'll kind of exit the picture from this point, is whatever you did, sir. I know like a lot came out about him, and a big 50-page manifesto of him wanting to be Michigan's head coach one day. He sounds like he might have went a little crazy, but hey, I like passion. You guys see it. I'm a guy that won't say no to passion. So you know what? All I got to say is I'm just gonna salute Stallions, and as long as he didn't do anything too crazy, no harm, no foul to me. All right, we'll move on. This is November 6th. Well, Kurt, up to that point, so Stallions is fired. It's November 3rd. What do you think? What do you think of just what you've heard and kind of this situation broken down to this point?
I feel like they're just looking for the smallest thing to run a mile with.
Yep, and that's really truly what it feels like to a lot of us. Okay, to round this out, we're almost up to present day, November the 6th. November the 6th, the NCAA reveals findings to the Big Ten which do not connect the in-person scouting and recording of opponent sidelines to head coach Jim Harbaugh. On the 6th, they say it does not connect Jim Harbaugh. Yes. So there's that. Also on the 6th, the NCAA and Big Ten confirmed to Yahoo Sports that Ohio State coach Ryan Day has no ties to the investigation. Because on the 6th, a report came out that Ryan Day's brother or something, is a something cyber person with the investigation firm.
Yeah.
So apparently they were trying to spin something with Ryan Day. I don't even remember this, but there's been so much mumbo jumbo.
Every day there's some new twist to this story.
So basically it was just like it was found that Ryan Day had no ties to the investigation. His family had received death threats after a report suggested he was involved. The brother, they had death threats.
Jesus.
So there's that from the 6th. On November 7th, Indianapolis Star columnist Doyle says he won't include McCarthy on his Heisman ballot. Believe it to be his duty as a voter to preserve the integrity of the trophy. I actually didn't know this, so that's how you kind of just chuckled. I'm just kind of thinking that's laughable for sure. On November 7th, Michigan shares evidence with the Big Ten that it believes shows Rutgers, Ohio State, and Purdue conspired to steal and share the Wolverine signs last season. Media outlets published the specific documents which were sent to Michigan by a former Purdue coach. So now everybody's so innocent. And, you want to say we were stealing your guys. Well, if you had our stuff, so what's it matter?
Why isn't
best
that
team
being,
wins then?
Why isn't that being talked about more?
If we're both stealing signs, best team wins then, right? Best team wins. Who can steal signs best? That's what it looks like. I mean, Purdue, Ohio State, and Rutgers. I mean, those are two big games, and Rutgers obviously being Rutgers, but
play them every year.
A track game.
Play them every year.
Right. So that's also, like you said, just not really being discussed enough. Obviously, people want to just paint us out to be so bad, but on November 8th, Michigan sends a 10-page letter to the Big Ten warning the conference to act cautiously when setting precedent, given the reality that in-person scouting, collusion among opponents, and other questionable practices may well be far more prevalent than believed. So there's that. That was on the 8th. Also on the 8th, 11 Michigan lawmakers sent a letter to Patini urging him to refrain from taking any premature measures. So we even asked him nicely, don't take any premature measures. This was 2 days ago. Of note, 9 of the 11 are either alumni or former employees of the University of Michigan. Well, that's not wrong at all. They went to the best school in Michigan. Whose fault is that? Not ours. So, what's next? The Big Ten is expected to make a decision in regards to potential punishment by the end of the week. So that was what? That puts that Thursday, which is about what I said when I started to hear about it. So they kind of lay out a potential penalties from Harbaugh suspension include withholding TV and bowl game revenue. I heard a little bit about that. As for the NCAA investigation, don't expect anything to happen until the off-season. Even if they manage to expedite things and provide Michigan a formal notice of allegations soon, the school would have 90 days to respond, and a lengthy appeal process would then follow. So the investigation is nowhere near done. Nowhere.
Not even close.
Yeah. So then this is what happened today. That just proves even more. What are we doing? This is terrible.
This is such a serious thing. How can you? I just don't understand how you can jump to a conclusion in such a hasty fashion. This stuff takes months to dig into because there can be so much that goes beyond this.
Right. So the situation is now being considered like the Astros in 2017 with their sign stealing, banging on trash cans. So that's some bulletin points, kind of talking about how the MLB has fixed teams from doing that. There's even somebody.
You know what's an easy way to fix this? How about we don't do signs, and why can't we have a play caller, and then the quarterback actually has a headset?
Yep. Put the headset. Yep. Everybody said that a lot.
Why can the NFL
Put
do
the
that?
Headset. Yep.
NFL can do it. Why can't college do it?
You want to get to the NFL, you're gonna have to get used to it. Why not do it then? It makes more sense. You can hear more clearer in rougher environments. What are the cons? It gets annoying in your ear. I don't even understand the cons of what that could be. So that was said by a lot of people that they should just get rid of them, and that's the best way to do it. Is just put a mic in the QB's ear. So Dan Wetzel even comes out and says that Purdue, Ohio State, and Rutgers cheated as much as Michigan did, with them stealing signs like we did. So there's an analyst saying that.
Shit, we're not the only ones.
Right.
Everyone else, to somewhat extent, everybody has done shady stuff.
Right. So the only thing else that this reads to this, I think that lawmakers, blah, blah. My take. Okay. So the only other thing that was talked about, and I just started hearing about this today, is there's a mysterious LLC, which is like a business that's connected to Blake Corum. He's listed as co-organizers of Wyoming-based BC2 Housing LLC. He denies any business dealings with Stallions. So maybe that's like connected with Stallions, that business. So they're trying to. Connor O'Day had reportedly been flagged by a Big Ten school for purchasing a ticket using an account number linked to Stallions. He also appears to have played high school football at Stallions' alma mater. So, just, you know what they're doing? They're just taking some darts and they're just, throw them on board. What do we got? What can we find here? Witch hunt. That's all I can think.
It's a witch hunt.
Witch hunt.
Recruiting. Now this.
So now that's pretty much, we're caught up with the situation. Michigan's in the air. Harbaugh gets a suspension. That's now in play. Michigan quickly comes out within probably 15 minutes of this and releases a statement saying they're going to fight it and that they basically believe that Michigan acted too quickly and not with fair judgment. And I truly believe that, and I'm sure you do as well, Kurt. But then another thing that I heard right before, so I had started hearing this earlier in the night as some jokes or just some speculation that Michigan may leave the Big Ten because of this. So I've been hearing within the last half hour or an hour, the SEC is getting ready to make Michigan, like they could be getting ready to make Michigan an offer.
Yep.
Depending on how this goes with the Big Ten.
I heard, there's so many reports, so who really knows? But, if there's smoke, there's a fire. So I heard it wasn't SEC, but potentially a different conference. I don't know who would be, but why would it not be the SEC?
Michigan's playing in one of the two top conferences. They're playing in the Big Ten or the SEC. They're not going to I would be pissed if they went to the ACC or the Pac-12 The only other thing would they be independent. And even that I'd still be pretty mad because I gave Notre Dame so much crap for that throughout the years. So that'll be interesting. But just look at all these different angles and layers that these are trying to peel off. And one thing's for certain here, and that's what I want to get a point across to you guys. One thing's for certain. This is far from complete. Get mad all you want about when this comes out. Michigan does not deserve to be punished for this right now. If they come out and find something later on that something went wrong, then sure. Punish them however you got to. They did wrong. Whatever. Okay, fine. Right now, this is so incomplete, it's not even funny. And the fact that they punished Harbaugh already is honestly
baffling.
And truthfully, it's baffling. It's terrible. It's an embarrassment. The Big Ten is an embarrassment.
I lost a lot of respect for college football and Big Ten after this conundrum.
Honestly, the way that they handled this, honestly, I don't blame you.
If this had been maybe a few other teams, they would let it slide right by. I'm not going to say who, but I know of some other teams, they would just slide by.
Y'all know. Just know that you guys know. If you're thinking of your team that you like,
if the shoe fits, wear it. That's what I'm going to say.
Hey, fair enough. Well, Kurt, any closing remarks? Like I said, I already gave my little salute to Stallions. Great work, soldier. You did great. You tried to take your advanced scouting metrics to a new level, and I hope you didn't do anything too crazy. But as long as you were just a crazy super fan, salute to you, Stallions.
Moving forward, I don't have nothing to say about the situation because it is what it is. They were looking for any way to screw us over, and they got what they wanted. So now, the next 3 victims are going to get what they deserve because they all were preying on it. So, and I'm just going to say how it is, man. These players are ready. They are ready to run through a wall.
They get off the plane, they get to some Wi-Fi, and you see them all come by one. It starts with JJ, and it's literally everybody on the team. Just bet, because And that's just, we said it in the car, but that's just them confirming they know and they're ready.
Absolutely. It's gonna suck. You can't replace Harbs. Ultimate players coach, brings out the best out of his players. But
He's somebody you want on the sideline, but we have the pieces. He's put a great staff. He's put a great staff at Michigan. We've been pretty fortunate with the injury bug this season so far. Knock on wood, of course. And we're in a good spot right now. So I think that, like you said, these next 3 teams are really going to feel our wrath, and I truly believe that.
Minter and Sharon Moore and Mike Hart, we'll be okay. We'll be all right.
I'm truly confident in what this team can do and what they can produce, but I truly want to know what will happen with tomorrow. I'm really curious in the morning to see if Michigan does anything, or like if the NCAA came out with anything to say about Michigan or Harbaugh coaching, or what goes on with that. But
they'll have a statement tomorrow, and we'll have a statement tomorrow. Do we want to dive into these games tomorrow? Week 11?
Yeah, we can. I guess we can just go around there too. Why not?
Because shoot, it's in 12 hours.
Yeah, it's a little wow.
It's in 12 hours.
Yeah, that's what's crazy is this week kind of just like this game's been so big. I was kind of like getting hype, and this like all this kind of made everything speed up, and now it's gonna one more sleep and we're there.
Biggest game of our season so far, and this is what they throw at us right now.
Unbelievable. Okay, well, let's get into it. So, do you want to? We're gonna start with Michigan. Why not?
That's the big noon game.
We're here already, and that's one of the only really like you said, one of the only really good noon games from this slate. So we're gonna talk about Michigan, Penn State. It's a 4-point line right now. At least that's what ESPN has that. 4 Michigan favored from Happy Valley in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Big road game. Playing good old Penn State. Drew Alar. Played them last year. Took care of them. This is a big one. This is obviously a must-win.
Right. I mean, these guys know it. The players know it. The coaches know it. Everybody knows it. And it's just about Michigan going in and really executing and playing how we think they can and how we think they should. How they've certainly looked. And 4-point, I mean, Vegas, I think it's a weird line, but I know I know Tony's side, and I get it because it does look kind of fishy, a little bit weird, but
he's trying to. I
think he's fishing.
He's just like fishing they're trying to speak it, and no, just
all I will say is I'm confident in this Michigan team, and my biggest bet since I've started was placed on Michigan -4 tonight. After all this happened, I'm very confident in this team going into tomorrow, and I believe that they will prosper and just come out and
this is going to bring the team together even more.
Right.
Everyone, this is a break or make moment. It's like we either let the outside noise get into here and we let it affect this, or we shut it out, come together, and just go out and do our thing. And the players know it. They know it. So
yeah,
I'm am I a little nervous? Just a little bit, but I mean,
it's a tough game. It's a tough environment. I mean, the nerves should be there, and I think that they're there for the players too in that aspect.
I think second half we will take over.
Yep, that's what I said throughout this week, and now I really believe it. I think that it might be a little kind of give something for the word to talk about for the first half. Maybe Michigan looks a little rough. Maybe goes in the locker room and it's a close game. But I think they get the chance to make those adjustments, especially if Harbaugh's there, and even if he's not, I think that they made the good adjustments. They come out in the second half. They come out in the second half and they get the big win.
All right. Wow. I'm not gonna lie. There's not a whole lot of ranked versus ranked kind of matchups. You know what I'm saying? Okay, they're later on in the day. Okay. So you got Ole Miss at Georgia, 7 p.m. That's a big one.
Well, I mean, I don't know how 6-3 Kentucky manages to not be ranked. That's baffling. They play Bama at home. Bama's an 11-point favorite. But I don't see how 6-3 Kentucky doesn't at least get ranked. But
they're not even 24, 23. That's
right. Well, I mean, Tulane 8-1 is 23. So I mean, I know they don't have the best schedule, but 8-1 is 8-1.
8-1.
Ooh, Colorado, Arizona. Arizona's like we've been talking about. They've proven to be a good team this year, and so that's a mid slot game, 3:30.
Really? I see that one on at 2 p.m. This is a weird time.
Oh my God, it is 2.
That's
yeah.
weird.
I thought it was 3, and it said 2. Wow, yeah, that's weird. We also got, obviously, Baylor, Kansas State. Kansas State faring pretty well. Baylor not. They're 3-6.
Oh my God, the U plays Florida State.
The U, after their terrible season, they cost me some money. Florida State, I hope you wax them boys. I hope you wax them boys bad. The line's only 14. That's kind of, I feel like that might be a little bit low.
I'll be curious to see how that Utah-Washington game goes. As we differed on that one.
Because I took Washington. You took Utah.
I took Utah with the plus 9.5.
My thing is, like, without Cam Rising, he's already been ruled out for the season. Like, Utah's defense is good, but that offense. But then Washington's defense isn't good. So it's like,
who knows?
I would take it either way, I guess, right? And then Tennessee, Missouri.
Tennessee
at 3:30. So these mid slot games. Three or four mid slot games are pretty.
We'll have some lit games after the dub.
Yeah. Yes. You already know.
Bees.
You already know. Let's go. Getting into tonight, we got Ole Miss and Georgia. Ole Miss 9, Georgia 2. That matchup is 7 p.m. from Athens, Georgia.
Yeah.
Georgia's 10.5-point favorites.
You said 10.5?
Yeah. 10.5-point favorites for Georgia. What do you think about that one? I don't know. Ole Miss got one loss.
I don't think so. I'm not going to lie. Georgia has not looked the invincible force they have been the past few seasons.
Yeah, they haven't looked that invincible, that's for sure. That's fair.
I probably would roll with Ole Miss with the points covering.
Right. We got Ohio State as 31.5-point favorites over Michigan State. They covering that one?
I feel like they will, but they've had a couple of games where they sleep.
Right.
But Michigan State has been god-awful, as we know. They have been dreadful.
Right. Amen. And then that's
a lot of points. That's a lot of points to cover.
That's a lot of points. That's a lot of points.
Right? For that offense.
Right. I think Texas gets Quinn Ewers back against TCU.
Yes, Sarkisian said he'd be playing tomorrow. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, so Texas with 8-1, trying to still make a run. TCU 4-5. They're not terrible, but still Big 12 team, so anything can happen. LSU, Florida. LSU's 14.5-point favorites. They're at home. If that game's close, LSU is in trouble.
They're already in trouble.
I mean, they were in trouble the moment they hired Brian Kelly, but nobody got to talk about that. UNC and Duke. The premier basketball matchup has finally made it to the football field. 7-2 versus 6-3. That's at 8 o'clock, and then
that's
right.
Close.
Ooh, UNC with 13 points. If Riley Leonard's playing, if Duke's quarterback's playing, I think they could cover that.
I would take Duke with the points.
Fair.
If he plays. Well,
Oregon, USC.
Yeah, I would say USC and Oregon should be a good matchup, but USC ain't about it this year.
Yeah, I think Oregon covers 16, probably. Well, I don't know. That 16's a lot.
Remember, Pac-12 stealth defenses.
True.
So
Caleb
Williams could still have a pretty productive day and get 27, 30-plus points.
I'll take the over 76. Give me 40 a pop.
Think so?
Yeah. All right. Well, that will clear us out for... That'll clear us out for Week 11. College football. Cannot wait. Going to be a great day of action. We'll be here. We got picks. We got some picks already. We made some this week on Shekel Podcast, and then I'll have mine. I post mine on my social media platforms. We'll get into those at the end. But yeah. What do we get into now, Kurt?
We could UFC pay-per-view tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that.
Pereira defending his title.
Yeah, two title bouts on this card. As Palovitz versus Aspinall is the co-main event. Coming in for John Jones and Stipe. As John Jones was supposed to be on this card.
Jones suffered an injury, man. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. The invincible John Jones, I couldn't believe it.
Rats.
Let's dive into this card, though. It's going to be a good one. UFC 295. And it starts with, I believe this matchup happened before, Diego Lopes versus Pat Sabatini.
Yeah.
I think this ended up in a no contest or something like that. The last time these two fought. Sabatini's the favorite in this one. This is from the 145-pound division. Sabatini's 18-4. Lopes is 22-6. Kurt, who you got?
Oh man. I think I'm gonna roll with the underdog on this one. I like Diego.
Diego Lopes? Taking Lopes?
Yeah.
Okay. Sabatini is kind of old. Sabatini's 33. Lopes is locked and loaded at 28. Plus money. One. Oh, that's a really close line.
Yeah.
Plus 100, so that's real close to even money. That's really a pick 'em fight. I think I'm going Lopes too. Yeah, I'll ride with that one with Lopes. I'll ride with Lopes. Let's see, we got Matt Fravella versus Benoit Saint Denis.
Yeah.
Denis is 12-1. Fravella is 11-3. 11-3-1. Benoit is minus 225, so pretty substantial favorite there.
He's a submission jiu-jitsu kind of guy.
Southpaw, 27. He's got one loss. Matt is 33. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this Matt dude's got it in him to beat Saint Denis. I think I'll take Saint Denis.
So am I.
Okay, we got Jessica Andrade versus Mackenzie Dern. Dern is minus 200, and Andrade is plus 170. Andrade is 20.
Number 7.
Ooh, 24-12. 24-12 Andrade. Dern is 13-3. And I've liked what I've seen. I feel like I've watched a couple. Dern's a name that I know I've seen Andrade too.
Yeah, definitely.
So this one should bang out. But I feel like I've watched during the last couple fights. And I think I'm going to give it to Duran here.
I'm going with the veteran here. I'm going
Taking
with
Andrade.
Yeah.
Andrade.
I think she'll win this.
All right, I'll go Duran there. That's a good third fight in the strawweight division. And then we get into the 2 title fights, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Heavyweight and light heavyweight title and
interim title.
Yep. So Pavlovich, the backup for the Stipe and Jones fight, would take on Tom Aspinall in a rust, no training camp. I mean, he just fought a couple months ago. He's stepping in.
Recently, yeah.
Big world title fight. Carl, how do you think this goes for him? I mean, this is not an easy spot to step in at. He's 13-3. The guy he's fighting is 18-1. Pavlovich got some crazy power. Put out guys like Tuivasa.
Yeah.
I think he put out Derek Lewis.
He did.
So I mean, he's a monster in his own right. And then I mean, Aspinall, he's great, but rush training camp. Who knows how he's feeling after that last fight?
It's kind of hard not to pick Pavlovich.
Right, and it's a pick'em. 110 either way. It's a pick'em for this title fight. 110 either way. I feel like for that price, for Aspinall to come in like that, I feel like you almost got to go Pavlovich. If you're getting him at almost pick'em money, and he's had a full camp and he was the backup for this, training the whole time.
That's where I'm leading. I think
Aspinall's live. I don't know how much money I put on it because Aspinall's real live, and it wouldn't surprise me if he came in there.
5-round fight. I don't think it goes 5 rounds though.
No. A lot of people think that goes like 1 round. Like these guys are true. 1 to 2 rounds, right? Because these guys are true killers and brawlers, and so we'll go with that, and that'll get us into the main event of the evening. Alex Pereira, he's done so much in 10 professional fights, and he will now fight for the light heavyweight title. He is taking on Jiri Prochazka. Prochazka is 29-3. Pereira obviously 8-2. The line for this one is Pereira minus 125. Pavlovich or Prochazka. He's 31. Pierre is 36. That's a little baffling, you know.
He's an older fighter, but
I didn't think he was that old. Let's see. They're both 204. Man, this one can go either way. I think I'm going Alex Pereira though. I like Pereira since he's moved up. I've liked him in the UFC, but I thought that he really needed the bump up, and I think that he really fits that light heavyweight division well. So
I think he's going to lose because I feel like all the champs have been losing recently. Nobody's belt is safe.
For sure.
I mean,
so
see. I mean, he's not fighting Izzy right now, so that's who he usually fights. I don't know. This one will be. I think this will be a pretty good fight. Pretty back and forth.
100%. 100%.
A lot of stand up. But the money line is a pick 'em, so it's not really heavily favored to anyone. So shoot.
Alrighty, so that'll do it. UFC 295 got our picks in. Good there. And I think that was pretty much it. I mean, we're an hour 10 in. I guess to just wrap up the night, college hoops has been starting. Obviously, we got most of these teams in action. Michigan gets a big 30-point win tonight over Youngstown State on the basketball court. And then we head over to ice hockey to Yost because they both played in Ann Arbor. So we go from Chrysler to Yost. And they looked good for about, I'd say, 2.5 periods. And in typical fashion this season, the Michigan Wolverines really struggled in the third period. This inexperience has really hurting them so far. Losing all the talent you did last year was gonna hurt, and they're feeling it. So they lose 4-3 in this one.
Also, don't forget that Little Green lost. Well, who did they lose to last week in college hoops?
James Madison in overtime. James Madison by 3. Yeah, that's really nothing else really happened in basketball that was
Not
a
yet.
big shocker, but
It's
yeah,
still
it
real
just
early.
started. It just started, but that was opening night. They had lost, so that was pretty funny. Sucks for them to get into all this with football and then try and enjoy basketball. Ooh, not so much, not so fast.
Not so fast.
Top 5.
No.
But Kurt, I think that might do it for a nice little return episode for us. Getting us back in the swing of things over here on Made on Ridgeway. Check out Kurt's Blitzburg coverage that he's doing for the Steelers. Check us out over on the Shekel Up podcast that we've been doing pretty much weekly. And yeah, we got that. I'm getting everything up for Inside Enemy Territory slowly but surely. Getting everything going with that. So check out that when I finally get something for that, which will be coming hopefully soon. And other than that, check us out on TikTok. We got Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube
Twitter,
Shorts,
X,
Twitter, Insta, yeah, you know, wherever you want to find us. Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And yeah, Made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast. Another one is in the books. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And have a great, safe weekend. You know what it is. It's Michigan for everybody. Go Blue.
Oh, yeah. We out.
Peace.